my dear friend. If these words have found you now, do not dismiss it as chance. In a world governed by divine order, nothing is ever accidental. Every meeting, every delay, every whisper of intuition, every sudden knowing arises from law, and the greatest law of all is the law of assumption. What you accept as true within your consciousness becomes the world you inhabit without. This is the great secret that has never truly been hidden. It has been spoken by mystics, hinted at by prophets, and veiled within scripture for ages. Yet only a few have had the courage to believe it. Fewer still have had the courage to live it. But you are here now, and that alone tells me something has already begun to stir within you. If you are noticing signs, then your inner conviction is already shaping the visible world. You stand closer than you think to the fulfillment of your desire. Not someday, not after years of waiting now. Understand this clearly. All manifestation begins in consciousness. There is no outside cause. The world you see is not the source of your life. It is the reflection of your inner state. It mirrors your assumptions with perfect fidelity. So when certain signs begin to appear, do not question them as though they were random accidents. Do not ask, is this a coincidence? Rejoice instead, for these are not messages sent to you from elsewhere. They are the outward echoes of what you have already accepted within. When you awaken to your true identity as the operant power, life becomes malleable. It begins to move in harmony with your assumption, not through force, not through struggle, but through the quiet certainty of knowing. For the moment you feel within yourself that your wish is fulfilled, the seed has already been planted in the fertile ground of imagination. And what is planted there must, in time, appear in the field of form. Now hear this. One of the first signs is an inward shift. You may not be able to name it at first. It may arrive as a subtle peace, a stillness, a softening of the mind. You feel lighter, you feel less anxious, you feel, in some beautiful and quiet way, that things are already in motion. That feeling is not small. It is the first whisper of fulfillment. It does not announce itself with thunder. It does not arrive with spectacle. It comes like a hush, like the calm air before dawn, as though the unseen world itself has drawn near. In that moment, your imagination and your reality begin to align. The struggle loosens its grip. The need to force begins to dissolve. You no longer feel the frantic pull of wanting. Instead, you enter the sacred stillness of knowing, and knowing is the most powerful state a human being can occupy. You do not need the evidence first. The peace itself is evidence. The inward calm is proof that consciousness has already moved. Then, as you go about your day, you may begin to notice curious little patterns. A stranger says the exact words you heard in imagination. A phrase you repeated inwardly returns to you from an unexpected conversation. A place, a name, a number, or a symbol connected to your desire appears again and again. These are signs, yes, but do not mistake them as gifts arriving from outside you. They are coming from you. They are your own inner life taking form on the screen of space. Do not make the mistake of treating signs as the cause of your manifestation. They are only the shadow of it, the evidence that your inner work has already begun to bear fruit. A mind not yet convinced will chase signs. A mind that knows will simply smile. You will know you are close when you no longer ask, is this it? Because something deeper in you has already answered, it is done. Desire itself is mysterious only to the untrained mind. In truth, desire is not a cry of lack. It is the memory of fulfillment pressing itself into awareness. It is the echo of a state you have already occupied in imagination. What you long for is not distant, it is intimate. It already exists within you as a living possibility, waiting to be accepted as fact. The signs do not lead you toward it. They remind you of it. They are the footprints of your own future, pressed gently into the present. One of the clearest signs is repetition. You may hear the same song in different places, see the same number again and again, encounter the same phrase, the same image, the same theme. It may feel as though reality itself is circling around something, trying to draw your attention, and in a sense, it is. That repetition is consciousness crystallizing. It is the world reflecting the persistence of your assumption. It is the unseen becoming more insistently visible. But do not chase the sign. Do not worship it. Do not make it more important than the state that produced it. The sign is not the destination. It is only confirmation that the road is already beneath your feet. When it appears, remain in the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Go deeper. Rest more fully in the inner conviction that your desire is already yours. For the sign is not there to entertain doubt. It is there to strengthen your faith. And now I will speak plainly about one of the most powerful signs of all: detachment. Not indifference, not apathy, but the quiet confidence that comes when you no longer feel the need to beg life for proof. You are no longer anxiously checking for evidence every few moments. You have entered a state of calm expectancy. You know it is yours, so you no longer suffer over whether it will come. This is not giving up. This is resting in the natural certainty of possession. A person who knows a letter is on the way does not stand at the mailbox every minute in fear. They simply know it will arrive. That is the state you must enter, not wanting from a place of absence, but knowing from a place of fulfillment. That stillness, that inner ease, is often the greatest sign that the manifestation is near. For when desperation falls away, identity has already changed. You may also notice the world beginning to respond to you differently. People speak with a tone that matches the version of you you have assumed. They become kinder, more attentive, more aligned with the state you have chosen. The relationships around you begin to reflect your inward shift. You may smile at this because it seems almost magical. But it is not magic, it is law. It is your imagination imposing its pattern upon experience. Others were always participating in the drama of your consciousness. They may not know it, but they are reflecting the role you have assigned them through your assumptions. When your inner dialogue changes, the script of life changes with it. And when you see the world around you respond, take it as yet another sign that the unseen is taking form. Sometimes the sign appears as déjà vu, a moment in which you feel you have already lived this scene. You know the feeling before the mind can explain it. That is not illusion. It is the meeting point between imagination and fact. You walked through this moment inwardly before it appeared outwardly. You rehearsed it in the theater of the mind. And now time is catching up to what you have already accepted. That familiarity is sacred. It means the invisible is pressing into visibility. It means the inner image is no longer contained. It is now moving toward expression. And if, in the midst of all this, you catch yourself smiling for no reason, or feeling a quiet gratitude for something not yet seen, do not dismiss it. That joy is a sign too. It means your state has become alive. It means you are no longer asking life for permission. You are receiving from within. Gratitude is powerful because it seals the assumption. To be grateful before the thing appears is to declare without hesitation that it is already yours. Gratitude says, I have accepted it in consciousness, and therefore it is mine in reality. What you bless, you stabilize. What you thank, you strengthen. What you feel deeply, You impress upon the substance of life itself. Do not be afraid of signs, and do not turn them into idols. They are not meant to replace faith. They are meant to accompany it. They are the visible ripples of an invisible cause. Every sign is a reflection, never the origin. So, when they appear, remain steady. Remain inwardly faithful to the state itself. The outer confirmation may delight you, but it must never become the foundation of your belief. That foundation must always be the assumption within. And then comes the moment when everything begins to quicken. A door opens, a call arrives, a message appears, a conversation unfolds in a way that feels too exact to be coincidence. And it all comes with a kind of ease that surprises the ordinary mind. Yet to the awakened one, it is the most natural thing in the world. The thing imagined has become the thing experienced. This is not wishful thinking. This is the divine order of reality. Consciousness is the only cause. Imagination is the creative power. Assumption is the seed. The world is the harvest. You are not waiting for life to decide for you. Life is waiting for your acceptance. The delay, when there seems to be one, is never in the universe. It is only in the lingering uncertainty of consciousness. When certainty arrives, time bends. You may test this for yourself. Imagine now, with full sincerity, that something wonderful has already happened. Make it specific. Make it alive. Feel the inner relief of it. Taste the quiet joy of its completion. Then release it. Do not seize it back with questions. Do not call it into doubt. Let the imaginal act stand complete. And when signs begin to appear, and they will, receive them with calm gratitude, not with nervous excitement. For gratitude is the language of one who knows. As you continue to practice this, you will notice something remarkable. The signs will appear more quickly. The manifestations will seem to unfold with less resistance. Why? Because your consciousness is becoming clearer, steadier, more disciplined. You are no longer tossed about by appearances. You are no longer a servant of the world. You are the one defining the world from within. This is the meaning of being the author of your life. An author does not ask the characters where the story should go. The author writes, and so it is with you. Every thought, every image, every quiet assumption is a line in the story you are composing. Begin to notice the shift in your own being, the gentleness in your chest, the quiet certainty in your mind, the way your imagined reality starts to feel more real than the visible one. These are not fantasies. These are signs of awakening. They are the soul's way of telling you that the thing you seek is no longer far away. It is pressing close, because it has already been accepted in the invisible. And what has been accepted inwardly must, by law, appear outwardly. The greatest sign of all is transformation in you. When you no longer behave like one who is trying to manifest, but like one who already has. When your speech changes, when your posture changes, when your gaze steadies, when your presence deepens, then you are no longer reaching outward for the dream. You have become the dreamer awakened to his own power. So tonight, before you sleep, enter the state. Assume the wish fulfilled. Feel what it would feel like to already be the one who has received. And when the signs come, however subtle, however strange, welcome them as the natural result of your consciousness. Do not let the facts of the present moment intimidate you. Facts are only temporary arrangements. Assumption is the deeper truth. What is done in imagination is done. You are not waiting on the world. The world is waiting on you, waiting for you to fully occupy the state, waiting for you to believe without wavering, waiting for you to embody the miracle before it appears. That is the secret, that is the power, that is the sign. The moment you stop needing evidence in order to believe, evidence begins to appear. This is a paradox only to the reasoning mind. To imagination it is law. What you inwardly accept as true will in time become outer fact, regardless of what appearances say. And if the sign appears while you remain unmoved, then you are no longer waiting. You are being in this state. Signs will appear in symbols, in dreams, in lyrics, in accidental conversations, in repeated numbers, in unexpected glances, in sudden feelings of certainty. You may hear a stranger speak your exact concern. You may see the very thing you desired placed before you in a film, a book, or a passing remark. None of it is random. All of it is consciousness speaking back to itself. Everything is speaking to you. Everything is arranging itself around the image you hold. Do not be startled when the world answers. Expect it, not with arrogance, but with divine assurance. You are not manipulating reality. You are impressing it with truth. Your truth, and your truth is this. What you assume, you become. There may come a moment when you feel your desire so vividly that it seems to walk beside you. You sense its presence before your senses can confirm it. That feeling is sacred. It means the invisible has become more real to you than the visible. And when that happens, manifestation is no longer uncertain. It is inevitable. Sometimes the fulfillment feels so natural that you almost laugh. That is because you have already lived it inwardly. You rehearsed it in silence. You became it in the unseen. And now when it appears, it feels less like a surprise and more like a remembrance. That is what manifestation truly is. The world remembering what you have already accepted in consciousness. This is why speed in manifestation is tied to the depth of belief. When belief becomes knowing, and knowing becomes identity, time collapses. The outer world rushes to match the inner one. You are not trying to become something. You already are. You are not affirming to persuade yourself. You are affirming to declare what is. And when conviction deepens, life accelerates. Conversations begin to shift. People begin to respond differently. Opportunities appear. Resolutions arrive. Doors open. Not because you forced them, but because you changed your state. You stopped pleading with the world and began living from the assumption that it was already done. Sometimes in that state you will be astonished by how quickly things unfold. A thought arises, and shortly after it appears. A feeling comes, and then the evidence follows. That is not coincidence. That is the natural consequence of inner alignment. The delay was never in life. The delay was only in the lingering shadow of doubt. Once consciousness is clear, the reflection becomes clear. Still, remember this. Signs are companions, not authorities. They are gentle confirmations, not foundations. Your knowing must come first. If you need signs before you believe, then belief is still dependent on the outer world. But when you stand in faith without requiring proof, you become immovable. And from that state, the world must conform. Walk then as the one who already has. Speak as the one who already knows. Move as the one whose desire is no longer a future event, but a present fact in consciousness. Let your posture, your decisions, your manner, your very presence reflect the fulfilled state. For the one who knows they are loved moves differently. The one who knows they are wealthy carries a different atmosphere. The one who knows they are chosen cannot help but stand differently in the world. And if today you hear the exact words you have spoken inwardly, or see the exact scene you imagined, pause and give thanks. Not because you were uncertain, but because you recognize the law at work. Gratitude is not a plea, it is acknowledgement. And what you acknowledge with feeling expands. There will come a moment when your world feels dreamlike, not because it is unreal, but because it is so perfectly familiar. You look around and think, of course. That is one of the truest signs of all, when fulfillment no longer feels extraordinary, but natural, because you lived it first in imagination and accepted it as yours long before it appeared. So, if you are seeing signs, if your body stirs, if your heart feels light, if synchronicities begin to weave through your day, if joy rises without reason, if dreams intensify, if time seems to bend, if life begins whispering your desire back to you in symbols and echoes, then know this: you are already there. Your manifestation is not on the way, it is unfolding now. Remain still. Remain certain. Remain faithful to the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Let the signs gather if they must, but do not become dependent on them. You are not here to chase signs. You are here to be the sign. For the world mirrors your assumptions with perfect accuracy. When your assumption is absolute, reality cannot resist. The instant it feels real within you, the universe begins to obey, not through effort, not through strain, but through law. This is the eternal truth Neville taught. Imagination creates reality, and when imagination is united with faith so complete that doubt has no room to enter, you step into the realm where manifestation becomes natural. Not in years, not in months, in moments, in seconds. So dare to live in the end. Dare to walk as though it is already done. Dare to speak from fulfillment rather than longing. Dare to feel the joy of possession before the outer world agrees. You are the operant power. You are the creator of your experience, and the signs you see are not promises of a distant future. They are confirmations that you have already arrived. Stand firm in your assumption. Hold to the feeling and watch the world obey. This is Neville Lectures. I'll see you again in the next video.